Hi there, folks. Here is another episode of Wild Talks. I'm your moderator, Yetmir, from the city of Shkodra, Albania. Today, I am delighted to introduce Katarina Paunovic. She was born in Belgrade and currently lives in Novi Sad, Serbia. Essentially, she began photographing birds around 2006. While being a wildlife photographer, she also is a member of Bird Protection and Study Society of Serbia, as well as an editor of photography for their magazine called Deltic, out since 2009. I can't wait to hear her experiences behind her photography and in our conversations. I mentioned to her that she organized her interview very well, so I can't wait for her to share it with you guys as well. So here we are. Welcome. Nice having you here. Feel free to begin with this beautiful shot.
Thank you, Yetimir. Thank you for inviting me. I see that people here are very much interested in height photography. So I'm going to start with the shooting from a height that was most exciting for me. And this is a height from Sweden. It is a height in Leksand, and they had a little project there like feeding eagles, winter feeding eagles. And they are also recording their numbers and the ringed eagles to see where they go, how much they stay, what age they are. So it's not a commercial hide. It was like their personal project from the club. So it's not for renting, but you have many hides in Sweden that you can rent if you want to photograph eagles. So I'm just gonna share my experience with a few photos to see how it was to photograph from the hide. And it was also the first time I was photographing from the hide. And before that, I had no idea what to expect, because usually when I bought a camera, I was like running around the field and just shooting whatever comes around. So you don't know what you're gonna see. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna like the hide photography. So I had a friend who was involved in the project, and he said, you got to try it, you don't know what you're missing. So I was visiting Sweden in 2009, and he took me there. And we had to go. So first rule, when you're photographing eagles, you have to go during the night, and you go inside the hide during the night. You can't go out during all day, and you have to stay till the night comes, and eagle can't see you come in or come out. If they see you, they're not gonna stay, they're gonna run away, and you're gonna shoot nothing that day, because eagles are smart. So we went there like 3 a.m. and then we had to ski on the snow for another hour till we got there, and we were there before sunrise. So we got in, and then you have another, so it was not a hide with the glass, it was like with a hole. So you have to, because he said you have to be very still when the first eagle lands. You have to resist the urge to just start shooting right away, because that is what usually people do. You can't wait for something to land, and it was already, it is too dark when the first eagle comes anyway, so you're not gonna get any perfect shots, but you're just gonna scare him. So when the first eagle landed, you see, he said, let him feed. When he starts to feed, then he feels relaxed. Then you can start shooting, and then it's better. The other eagles will come. So that is what I did. I followed the instructions. So we had a good day. It was sunny, and we had many eagles that day, not too many, but enough for some perfect shots. I was happy. And I discovered that it is not too long to sit all day in the hide, because even when you don't know what is going to happen, when there's nothing happening, you still expect something is going to happen. So it's interesting. It's
how far were you from the eagle in this case?
Well, maybe 25 meters.
Okay, well, that's close, yeah.
I have a 400 millimeters lens fixed, so it was like mostly full frame.
Full frame, yeah.
I didn't have to crop much at all. Maybe some corrections. So you see, it was perfect. There were also ravens and jays and hooded crows. but I did not include those pictures because I guess people already seen them and it's not that interesting as much as the eagles. Also, white-tailed eagles did came. I did not get the perfect shots, but they're also interesting. Not so many in numbers, maybe 2 or 3 white-tailed eagles and maybe 15 golden eagles. So I was mostly interested in golden eagle because we have them in Serbia, but not that much. So you see that here, like they're fighting over food, and I couldn't get the wings in the frame. They're cut off because they are just too close.
Yep.
And it was very exciting for me. I mean, I did try later in Serbia. We tried to make some hide on some fish pond, and it was cold. And in Sweden, they have it all sorted out. You can sit in the t-shirt inside the hide, and you have a gas stove like for warming up, and it's not boring at all. It's very exciting, actually. So that was my first encounter with hide photography. So next, I think I would like to introduce the few places in Serbia that you can visit. One where you can, it's not all about hide photography, but first I'm going to start with where you can go if you want to shoot birds from the hide. So there is a friend of mine, it's called Sekeš Levente, and he has his own few hides. Here is his contact. So you can maybe pause the video later and see what where it is.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's good.
I was in the red-footed roller and red-footed falcon. That's where I went, and that's where the next few photos came from. So this is photo roller. We went there only for like 2-3 hours, and it's different from hide in Sweden. We didn't have to go there during the night. We came in the middle of the day and the birds, they flew away, but they came back because they are not so scared. They have nesting boxes close by, and they come back to occupy the nest boxes to feed each other. They even mated in front of us, and the hide is with the glasses. So the birds can't see you. They saw you come in, but they're not so scared as eagles. I'm not saying that they're not so smart as eagles, but they come back. Also, red-footed falcon, here is the female. They also come back, and they're pretty, not scared. They're posing. Here is the male. They even mated, but this is not the photo from that hide. It's from another place, but still, it's interesting. I mean, if you want to, there is also hide for water birds, for hoopoe. In winter, you can go photograph eagles. So if you're interested in hide photography, this is the person to contact in Serbia.
One reason why I appreciate hide photography is that it gives the option to folks to photograph species that otherwise they wouldn't be able to photograph. So I think being able to have services like that, I think is wonderful. And I am myself in more and more in touch with folks. So I'm looking forward to actually reach out to find out more about this hide, and perhaps in the future visit it with friends. And so I appreciate the fact that you are sharing not only the location, but also the people who we reach out. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I guess some will find it useful. So next is Kikinda. Oh, sorry. It's about owls. Kikinda is the place in Serbia with the highest number of owls during the winter roost. So they're only there from like November till some maybe January, February, and then they're gone. Then they go to breeding places, and you're not going to see them anymore. But during the winter, we were doing the survey. It's called the Open Your Eyes, and it was during the 2007 till 2009. It was organized by my friend Milan Ružić, and we were counting the owls around Vojvodina region. And that is when we discovered Kikinda, like the place in Serbia with the highest number of owls. Although they are in the center of the city, and when you come to the city, you're not going to see them really. You don't realize how much they are. But first thing you're going to notice is pellets. So when you look for owls, you look for pellets under the tree and on the pavement. You see that there are a lot of poo and pellets. So when you see that, you look up and then you see the owls and they're looking at you and they're like, oh, hello. And sometimes they're sleeping. So you point your camera and she's like, I'm not going to take you photographs. So we tried some various tricks to make them to wake up. So we squeezed like a mouse, like, and that's why it's maybe a puzzled look on the owl, but it's interesting. The important thing about photographing owls is that you don't stay too long and you don't try not to scare them too much. When you shoot them for several pictures and you go on, they're not going to fly away. They will stay there and continue to sleep or preen or whatever they're doing. But if you stay too long, they can get scared and they fly away. When they fly away, it's dangerous because they can hit the glass of the window and they can injure themselves. So usually you try not to disturb them too much. You can always take many beautiful pictures if you just take around and scroll around the many various trees. They're usually in conifer trees and they're high up in, but not too high. Maybe in Kikinda they are very tall trees, but you can find somewhere closer. They usually fill the frame also. With my camera, sometimes I have to photograph vertically because horizontally they cannot fit in.
I understand. Yeah. Yep.
So we also, during the survey, we also introduced people how owls are useful to people, because here there are many old people that have superstition about owls and how if the owl lands on your house, somebody is going to die. So nobody is going to die. They're useful because they eat rodents and they save your crops. You don't have to use pesticides because they eat mice. And the media covered it very well. So during those few years, we tried to change the public opinion about owls. Not only, I was there like a photographer and they were there like they're biology students and they were taking a survey on counting the numbers, making statistics. And I was just photographing. And I think we did a very good thing about changing the general opinion about owls in Serbia and maybe even wider. Usually they are just like this, they stand still. They're not scared easily. They're beautiful they're beautiful birds to picture because they're just beautiful. I like owls. I don't know.
The way you're sharing this, I cannot help but appreciate the fact how you folks are getting together, biologists, the photographers, creating communities. And to me, almost like you're speaking at my dream. Like my hope is that what you guys are doing in Serbia together there, we can even do it in Balkans, but even farther, like Europe, where we can connect communities together and make differences through different means, different projects. And I think it's wonderful. And so thank you for bringing all of this information up, because it is really an example, I think, on how we can communicate, connect, and make differences, therefore. So thank you once again for that.
Well, I think it's possible. We don't have it was like a convention about owls, but I didn't have details on that, so I'm not gonna go wider on that now. I'm just going to mention one more thing. I'm going back to the previous slide about photographing owls. This is just a quick tip. Maybe somebody already knows it. Maybe somebody will find it useful. When you usually photograph owls, the main thing you have to remember is about settings. When I shoot birds in flight, I'm on aperture priority because of the shutter speed. And when you're shooting them inside the tree, it's better to put priority on TV. It's
okay, yeah, the shutter speed, right?
Yeah, you put ISO on auto and you put shutter at least 800. It's even better if it is 1000 because there is not enough light. So you
I
put
see.
the ISO to go to vary as much as how much light you have.
Mhm.
And if it's a lower shutter speed, then you're gonna shake it, and you don't need a tripod. You just need to stand still. And when you're focusing, you focus on the head and on the eyes. You don't focus on the chest,
Mhm.
because the depth of field is shallow. It's usually around 10 centimeters for my lens. So if you shoot the chest, the head is not gonna look sharp because of the angle. If it's right up in the tree and the angle is sharp, then the head is not going to be sharp. So it's better to like separate the shutter button and focusing button. I always do that. Somebody doesn't, but it's better that way because you can focus on the head and then use the shutter to shoot the owls. So it's just a quick tip. If for somebody who doesn't already know
Yeah,
what.
appreciate that. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. And being more in control, it makes a difference in the quality of the picture you show. When I say control, I'm talking about controlling the settings the way you would want them, like separating the back button with the shutter speed, with the shutter button and stuff like that. So I couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I have one in flight, and that was just a lucky shot, I guess, because usually you don't have a lot of time. They are quick and they move like you have 20-50 meters before they are gone.
Yeah.
And this was taken with my old Canon D350, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. It was the best I had, but I used it well. So I have to also mention baby owls. And this is not from Kikinda, but they are so cute. I had to put them in. This is from Melenci. It's a village in also in Vojvodina region, where there were also many nesting owls for a while. Now they're gone. I'm not sure why, because I think the population is decreasing. We should have continued that survey and monitoring, because the things are changing. I see that there are not many owls as they used to be, and they're not on places I used to see them. So 10 years ago and now it's not the same anymore. So that's all I have to say about
Very good. Very good. Love the owls. Nice segment of your interviews. All right, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. The next thing in Serbia is a special nature reserve Slano Kopovo. That is the place you want to go if you want to see the cranes. The cranes there usually go somewhere, you can see them in between November, it's better December and January. And because it's a lake, it's a saltwater lake, it's one of the 3 remaining saltwater lakes in Serbia, and it's very shallow. It's not even half-meter depth, and they come to sleep there because they feel safe in the water, because the foxes can come to them. And if there is no water, there is no cranes. So it all depends on the year, how many rains there are, and how dry the land is. The first time I went to Slano Kopovo, I saw only 5 cranes, although I was told there are many thousands, hundreds of cranes there. I used to see the problem with the photography is that the cranes land there when the sun is coming down. So you come there, you wait, and when they finally come, you don't have the light to shoot them anymore. So it's like you can just enjoy the view and the sounds, and it's amazing, really, it's fantastic, but there are not many light. So a few times we were there and we found them on the area around the lake. So if you come there and they're not there, you just drive around and see them in the surrounding area. They're feeding on the crops and around. So I did manage to take a few good shots, but it's like you can go there and expect to see them there every time. So it's like a lottery. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't.
What time of the year and what time of the day is this picture taken, for example?
This was January. Definitely there was still snow, and it was in the middle of the day.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yes. usually sunset. This is where they landed, and there was like an old building, the ruins, and we sneaked around the ruins and we managed to get closer to them. So it's a bit tricky, you know. They're like very easily scared. They see you like 500 meters and they fly away. And then, for example, I saw cranes in Sweden, and in Sweden you can shoot them. They are not scared at all. Why? Because they're feeding them. Nobody's shooting at them, and they are. I think the population from Sweden is not going over Serbia. Definitely not. I think those are cranes from Russia or somewhere. So they are very scared and not easily to come close to. And there is also hide on Slano Kopovo, but you can't expect to go in that hide and actually shoot something, because in Slano Kopovo they never feed the cranes. They just placed the hide on the close to where they usually land. But
I understand.
It can be days or months, and maybe they will end there, maybe they will don't. You can sit there all day and see nothing. And
it's not a sure thing per se.
No, it's definitely not a sure thing.
Yeah,
So
you
don't bother with the hide on Slano Kopovo. I hope nobody will hear me from Slano Kopovo saying this, but but it's the truth.
I hear. Yeah. It's hard also, you know, for folks to drive, for example, and come specifically for places. The hardest thing is like you drive, you do all of the expenses and everything, and then you wait for the shot and then just not there. It's so hurtful. So
yeah, but if you want the sure thing, I recommend the Hornborga Lake in Sweden. You have hides there where the cranes are so close you can. They're too close for food photographing, because they feed them there, and people come there all year during the March when they are going to breeding, and during the winter time when they are starting the migration. There is always feeding in Sweden. There is a guy with the chair and food, and he puts them around, and when you pay there, you're gonna get it something for sure.
I understand.
So that's a sure thing. It was my dream to go there, but I never did. It's maybe I will someday. Who knows? But
yeah. Maybe we all get together like a group of 4 or 5 of us. Who knows?
I don't know.
With Nenad also, you know, by the way, I want to say hi to Nenad. He's such a sweetheart, an amazing guy. We met with him in July, had a great time through him. I met you, and that's the beauty of the passion we share. So I just want to shout out to Nenad, great guy. And so
okay, I have to mention also geese on Slano Kopovo. Yeah, geese are amazing. They also come to the lake and they stay there during the day. They feed on the agricultural area, and they come there to wash their feet and drink some water. Okay, so that's all about Slano Kopovo. Next thing is Uvac. It's special nature reserve in southern western Serbia. It's a place where they have highest population of vultures in Serbia, and there is a feeding place that is working on restoring the population of nesting colony.
Nice work.
So there is a ranger service there that feeds them with dead cows and horses, so dead cattle that they get from the peasants. And if you want to photograph vultures, that is the place to go.
Very nice.
You have to announce your arrival to the ranger service, and there is also good accommodation with the local population. So it's not expensive. There is no hotel, but it's even better to have experience firsthand, you know, with the locals. So
very cool.
You can also take a very good photos if you come on any side of those mountains. It's like a very gorgeous and with the high cliffs. And when you climb there, you get to see vultures in eye level. They even fly below you. So you can shoot them. They get thermals and they circle around, and they're very easy to photograph. It's amazing. So there is also service to drive a boat around Uvac River. And from the boat, you can take pictures of them standing on the rocks, and also they are nesting there. There are 110 nesting pairs, which makes, but even a larger number, around 500 birds altogether on the feeding place. But they don't all nest. But when you go on the boat, you can take pictures of young birds staring from the nest. They even had few cases where the bird fell into the water. They had to rescue it. So on Uvac, there is also a big cage for reintroduction of the birds who are either injured or fly away from the nest too soon or something like that. So it's an interesting place to visit. Also, I know you have vultures in Spain or something, but if you are close to Serbia, you can visit here. Also, there is once they saw a black-headed vulture, black vulture, sorry, and Hanya, what is the name? I don't know. Egyptian vulture. Yeah.
Right, Egyptian, right, that's right.
Yeah, but it was only, I think, once or twice. It was a rare visitor, but it's possible. And on the water, while the boat is driving around the river, you can see Mergus merganser. It's I don't know the English name. Sorry.
No, it's fine. But this is a great spot to shoot vultures. And then again, going back to where I said, is that the way you structured your interview is very informative with places and stuff. So you really get a nice picture, and I appreciate that. And I encourage folks to go to these places in some way. Even let's get together and maybe just visit and do this. And I think it's wonderful, and do it more and more. And I think it's just good comes out of it. And on top of it, this is our passion. We love to photograph these beautiful creatures. It's great.
Yes, of course. And okay, we are done with Uvac, and there is one more place I like to mention. It is in Greece.
Right.
We were in Greece for a summer holiday. So we were placed in Paralia. It is a place for local tourists. You have beach, you have sun. So if you are going probably with the family member who doesn't like birds or don't want to go to see the birds, this is where they can stay and they can sunbath and enjoy the sun. And you rent a bike like I did and my friend. The bike was only €5 per day. And we went, it is like 10 kilometers. So we went to the Kitros salt pit. That is the place where they extract salt, and they have a lot of pools that are shallow and they are filled with flamingos. So we went there around noon. We wanted to go earlier, but it was impossible because the bikes they rent, they only open at 8 o'clock and you can't rent a bicycle earlier. But if you have a car, it's even better. Then you can go early and you don't have to drive a bicycle on the sun. And it was tiring pretty much, but we got there, and there is like an embankment above and the flamingos can't see you approaching, which is a perfect thing because you can come very close and they don't see you. So you sneak around, and this is the moment you see the grouse below. When I looked above embankment, and I saw that they are like 50 meters in front of me. And I don't know who was surprised more, me or them, but but it was amazing. And there were like hundreds of them. A few were in front of me, and there were like pools below. They are filled with flamingos. And I saw flamingos in zoo, but it cannot be compared to see them in the wild.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. So you can imagine my surprise and excitement. So I wanted to share this because and anybody who is visiting Greece and in that area should go to Kitros pit and see the flamingos. I still have to see the pelicans. I didn't get to see that, but flamingos are on the list. Checked.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I'll tell you, I love them because of also the size. They are not too hard to photograph once you're closer. I love also pelicans for that reason. And I saw the flamingos in Spain a couple of months ago when I was there. Beautiful. They are like, they also stay around in Albania. They are close to southern Albania. Vlora is the city nearby. In Leja, it's another city. In Montenegro as well. There is a spot where they are in hundreds, but they are beautiful to see when they're in live. So absolutely, I agree with you. It's great.
Yeah, so here a few more shots just so you get the pictures. Maybe I didn't get, yeah, that's the wider angle where you can see below the pools with so many. So they are like, they saw me because I was standing out and I didn't hide myself very well. And they're like walking away slowly. They didn't run away. They just peacefully went a little further and then they started to fly, but it was after I got all the shots I wanted and then they flew off. So that's so much for flamingos.
That's beautiful. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this. I reach out to the folks of this group. If you have any questions for this interview, please feel free. I'm sure we'll answer them with no problem. This was very informative interview. I did not know, definitely not, about the locations you shared in Serbia. I'm so happy to learn, and I'm also I encourage folks to help us connect with other photographers and individuals from different countries where they can tell us more about where the places are, where we can go and photograph. So this was a great interview. I thank you so much. Any last thoughts before we go today?
Well, I just wanted to say I visited Skodra once, your place. Yes. And we didn't have time to go to see the pelicans, but we went to see the fortress. And I would rather go see the pelicans. But when we were on the fortress, it was I saw some birds flying in the distance and I photographed them and turned out to be a glossy ibis.
Yes.
But those were the first time I saw them. So it was one more species on my checklist. And later on, I saw the pellet harrier. So we only spent one day in Albania, but I had 2 new birds on my checklist. So I had to mention that as well.
That's so nice. Thank you for sharing it. And by the way, next time you come, in order just to make sure, because we know how this works, you need to be with somebody where they are, like, because otherwise going around doing a field photography, it's a hit and miss type of experience. But please make sure next time you're in Skoda, let us know. We'll make sure if I'm not personally there, we have friends. We have Ridvan, Ilir, Denik, friends of Nenad as well. So definitely one of us can help you to take you 10 meters close to them, 50 meters. Because there is a location now that they can definitely be seen. Also in Divjaka, there is a colony, maybe hundreds of them now or more. That's another place to visit. So, but yeah, definitely we look forward to seeing you there.
Okay, maybe someday, who knows?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, thank you so much for doing this. Folks, all the best. As I said, any questions you have, please shoot them. And take care until the next interview.
Bye.